Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news. Like I did mention, even though the season is suspended for at least 3 weeks, I will still be doing regular videos, keeping up to date of what's going on with the transfer news and that. So I am going to be giving you some news regarding Angel Gomes. Also going to be giving you a bit more additional information regarding Jadon Sancho, and also going to be giving you the latest news regarding Jude Bellingham, and then maybe after them topics there'll be more to currently negotiate about. So I am going to start with Angel Gomes. So narratives have been coming out of the mainstream media, at least in the last couple of days, saying that Chelsea have expressed their interest in Angel Gomes. Now, of course, Angel Gomes' current contract at Manchester United does expire, I think, in around 3 months. Obviously, up until this point, Angel Gomes has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. He spent the entirety of his career with the club, and I think he was in our youth setup for around, was it 12 or 13 years or so, and I think he's been in our senior squad since like 2017 or 2018, but his Angel Gomes' appearances have been limited at Manchester United, and I did say, when Solskjaer going to be convinced, to give Angel Gomes more minutes under his belt. I think he's only played around 6 times this season as Angel Gomes. You've obviously, you've had the likes of Chon that signed a new contract last week. Obviously, Mason Greenwood and Brandon Williams have all made more appearances than Angel Gomes. But now, reportedly, we have responded to the speculation of him possibly going to Chelsea, but reportedly we're set to block his move to Chelsea by offering him a contract worth in the region of around £25,000 a week. So this could convince Angel Gomes to remain at Manchester United. Now, if he was to go to Chelsea, reportedly we would be entitled to a compensation fee, if Angel Gomes was to go to Chelsea. But like I mentioned, he has been a United player since the age of 8, and he is now only 19 years of age. So Angel Gomes has still got a lot of development in him, and a lot of United fans still believe he is a long-term solution for the club because he's barely played, like I mentioned. So I can't really have a perception on Angel Gomes until I see him get more game time. But as Chelsea, I think, keen on getting more young players into their team. And like I mentioned, I think Chelsea have got a good youth setup. They've got a really, really good youth setup of Chelsea. Obviously, they've got likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi. Don't forget, recently he was tested positive for coronavirus. I think he's now recovering or has recovered from it. Obviously, they've got Tammy Abraham. He's another young player. They've got Reece James. He's another young player. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So they've got a lot of young players in their squad of Chelsea. But yeah, so reportedly, we're going to try and convince him to remain at Manchester United, Angel Gomes. So that's basically the latest news on him. Now, the news on Jadon Sancho is that I was reading the Daily Star yesterday. I also too was reading a few other reports because I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. And it was a European football expert that came out yesterday, and I think he's called Raphael Hoggenstein or something like that. And he basically said that Jadon Sancho will be in the Premier League next season. And I think he's revealed that his actual preference is a move to Manchester United. Now, obviously, we've been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho, and he's one of our number 1 priority targets for the summer. I think we are confident we can sign Jadon Sancho, providing that we get qualification for the Champions League for next season. And I did say, didn't I, in general, that I think, we need qualification for the Champions League to get players to the elite level, because don't forget, Solskjaer recently revealed that he wants to make around 4 signings this summer, and he wants to get rid of around 5 players. And like I updated you earlier on, I think, it's revealed what players, Solskjaer, could get rid of in this summer transfer window. But Solskjaer did say we need around 3 signings to become title contenders. So if we can get the right players in the summer, then possibly next season, Manchester United could be title contenders, but I still don't think we'll win it next season, but there's a slight chance we could win it. But yeah, so if we get Champions League qualification, I think, we can get Jadon Sancho on the board. Like I mentioned, revert back to what I said. And don't forget the Borussia Dortmund CEO, he came out and basically said, and he reiterated it, he said, if Jadon Sancho still wants to leave Dortmund, we will discuss a transfer. Sky in Germany, back in February, which was last month, they said that Jadon Sancho wants to leave Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season. This is what it basically said. But there again, the CEO... a while back, said that Jadon Sancho was happy at Borussia Dortmund. But, I think he would be a brilliant addition to the squad, Jadon Sancho, if he was to come in, because Man United are in search for a right winger, and Jadon Sancho is predominantly a right winger. Occasionally, you can play him centrally, but there's not only been Man United that have been in for him. A host of clubs have expressed their interest. Obviously, Chelsea, like I mentioned, have been in for him, Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG, so a lot of teams have expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund have quoted out that they want at least £100 million for him. It could maybe even cost more than £100 million, Sancho. Maybe it could cost us around £120 million. But either way, we'll have to make him a record signing in the Premier League, and we'll have to make him our most expensive signing at the club, because our most expensive signing at the moment is Paul Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. And I think it did say the other week we were set to offer Jadon Sancho a contract worth in the region of £200,000 a week. So it wouldn't be only the our most expensive signing. He'd be one of the highest paid players at the football club. And don't forget, Solskjaer did recently reveal that he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to the football club, and that because he said it's a privilege to manage a young squad, because Man United, as it stands at the moment, have got a lot of young players there. But yeah, and Jadon Sancho's, what is he now, 20 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. And the beneficial thing is, let's take this into account, that he's already played in the Premier League. So if he was to reunite in the Premier League, that would, rejuvenate his career, definitely. He did serve a couple of years at Manchester City, but never really got his opportunities at Man City. He never really got any first team opportunities, so this is the main explanation why he left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund will look at it from a financial point of view. Basically, if they sold him for £100 million, they're going to get around a £92 or £93 million profit, because they only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from Man City. If they were to sell him for £120 million, they'd make £112 or £113 million profit, would Borussia Dortmund. But Borussia Dortmund still know how much of an imperative player he is. Sancho's got 2 years left on his contract with Dortmund. He's under contract with them until 2022. Yes, he is. Under contract with them until 2022 is Jadon Sancho. And I think, before he was at Manchester City, he actually was at Watford. He began his career with Watford. Jadon Sancho, during his time with Borussia Dortmund, I think he scored like 31 goals in 90 appearances. But he's been dropped in a lot of games, this season. Has played regularly recently, but earlier on this season he was dropped in a lot of games. But I've got to say, in his 2 previous seasons, he has done really, really well as Jadon Sancho. So hopefully, we can get a deal over the line for him in this summer transfer window. But I think he'd complement our attacking line really, really well. He'd go well alongside the likes of Rashford, Martial, James, Greenwood, Bruno Fernandes. He complement our attacking line really, really well, because Jadon Sancho's a player that can create chances and he can score goals. So we will see what happens, and I'll keep up to date. But this is according to the European football expert. He came out yesterday and he's revealed that Jadon Sancho will be in the Premier League next season. So that's the latest on him. Now, I'm going to give you the latest news regarding Jude Bellingham. Now, I've been reading reports today regarding Jude Bellingham. It's stemming from the Daily Mail, the Mirror. I know they're not reliable sources, but, I still delved into it and, basically read what was said. And it basically says now that Jude Bellingham is likely to leave Birmingham City at the end of the season. Reportedly, he's got a transfer decision to make on 4 clubs, because these 4 clubs that are in for Jude Bellingham, and that's Manchester United, Chelsea, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. Reportedly, Birmingham have confirmed that they want around £30 million for Jude Bellingham, but all them teams I've just mentioned to you are determined to meet Birmingham City's valuation. So this means, Jude Bellingham could leave at the end of the season. Like I mentioned, I think Birmingham, should give him at least another season in the Championship, because I don't think his Premier League standard is yet. I don't think he's emulated to that level as yet, because don't forget, Jude Bellingham is only at the age of 16, so he is inexperienced at the moment. And I said, didn't I don't think he's got the minerals yet to succeed in the Premier League. Obviously, he's on around £145 a week at the moment, is Jude Bellingham. That's what he's on, because he hasn't signed his professional contract yet. He's set to sign his professional contract in the summer transfer window, is Jude Bellingham. But yeah, I've got to say he's done really, really well for Birmingham this season. Birmingham have played him regularly. And obviously, don't forget he became the youngest player to represent Birmingham. He made his debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. Did you know, Jude Bellingham? But could likely leave at the end of the season. Well, so these four clubs are determined to meet what Birmingham want. Obviously, I think they are willing to pay 15 million, but with performance-related add-ons included. So where could be his next destination? Obviously, don't forget last Monday, like he updated you, this fueled a lot of speculation. Don't forget Jude Bellingham visited our Carrington training ground, and so too did his family. Obviously, Jude Bellingham had held negotiations with Sir Alex Ferguson. Obviously, Ferguson, I think, tried to convince him to come and join Manchester United. Well, persuade him to come to Man United in the summer. And also to his family, had negotiations with our executive. So that did, fuel a lot of transfer speculation up. So yeah, that happened last week. But it's unknown where Jude Bellingham's next destination is going to be. But if Birmingham was to give him another season in the Championship and he was to replicate next season what he's done this season, he'd probably be worth more than £30 million, to be quite honest with you in that. But yeah, so that is the latest news on him. And like I mentioned, I think he's predominantly number 10, but you can also put him on the right-hand side. Don't forget, Jack Grealish is another player that's been on our agenda. I think, if we are to go in for him, he's set to cost us around £70 million, is Jack Grealish. But it is good, that Manchester United are making plans for the summer transfer window. I think Solskjaer recently revealed that, he wanted to get all or some of our transfer business done as soon as possible rather than wait until the summer. So this is what, basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. But yeah, so obviously, like I mentioned, Solskjaer has obviously, been at Manchester United now over a year. He's basically been here now for 15 months and he's been permanent Manchester United manager for a year. Obviously, we did give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis, reflecting on, what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, obviously, so far, he's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at Manchester United, and he has spent in the excess of around £220 million on 5 players. Obviously, last summer, he brought Daniel James in for £15 million. He brought Wan-Bissaka in. And of course, he brought Harry Maguire in for £80 million. Harry Maguire is the most expensive defender in the world and is the second most expensive sign at the club. But the 3 signs he recommended in last summer have done really, really well. There again, James hasn't been so good in the last month, but I think Bissaka and Maguire have been absolutely immense for us. And obviously in January, Solskjaer brought Bruno Fernandes in for £68 million and he brought Odion Ighalo in. So he has brought 5 players in so far, but obviously Solskjaer is looking to build on that. Like he said, if he wants to bring around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. So if he was to be still here in the summer transfer window and he was to bring around 4 signings in, that would be 9 players he would have brought in, as Manchester United manager. But like I mentioned on my recent video, I think it's more than likely that Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season, especially if we do get qualification for, the Champions League. And even if the season wasn't to resume due to this coronavirus and stuff, I think probably Solskjaer would still be Manchester United manager for next season. Now, there has been a lot of narratives going on. This is controversial plans. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I've been hearing rumours due to this coronavirus basically saying that Liverpool would be denied the title. That would be very, very unfair on them because as it stands, Liverpool only need 2 wins anywhere to clinch their first title in 30 years. Obviously, it said no teams would be relegated from the Premier League. It also said, Leeds United and West Brom, wouldn't get promoted, they wouldn't go up. And it also said next season there's a possibility chance that there could be 22 teams in the Premier League, 5 teams will be relegated, and the EFL Cup games will be axed. To obviously fit more Premier League fixtures in, to increase more Premier League fixtures, because it said, there would be allegedly 22 teams in the division next season. But this is very, very controversial. It doesn't mean it's going to happen and that. But as I said, it is suspended for at least the next 3 weeks. Is all the fixtures. Obviously, recently games have been playing behind closed doors, don't forget. The Euros won't be going on this year. The Euros will be going on in the summer of 2021. All the women's football's been cancelled. Champions League and the Europa League games have been cancelled for this week. I don't think yet UEFA have confirmed how long, they're going to be suspended for. The positive is, though, for Liverpool, if the European games weren't to be rescheduled this season, then, Liverpool would still remain holders of the Champions League and that. But maybe, due to this, coronavirus, it has changed. It could change a lot. It could change the context of the Premier League, basically. It could change a lot of things. And don't forget the Championship playoffs as well, where they're going to come from in, the Championship and League One and League Two. So it has, changed a lot of things. But no matter what, I still think Solskjaer will be Man United manager going on into next season. Because, he has received a lot of criticism this season from a lot of Manchester United fans. And I've been one of them that have criticised him. But like I mentioned, I criticised Solskjaer when he deserved to be criticised. And I credit him when he deserves to be credited. And I think definitely recently, he deserves to be credited, does Solskjaer, because his approach to games have been very, very good. He has showed a lot of tactical flexibility, to be fair. And that's very, very good to see. Because I did say, didn't I, he has been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season. But I think, Manchester United's best formation is the 3-5-2, because from my own perception will look more expansive with 3 at the back. And I know on a regular basis this season Solskjaer has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation, but from my own perception it doesn't really seem to suit our standards. It doesn't. And we're in a really, really good run of form. We are unbeaten now in our last 11 games in all competitions. We are unbeaten, and in this 11-game unbeaten run we have won 8, we have drawn 3, we have scored 29 goals, we've kept 9 clean sheets, and we've only conceded 2 goals. So it's very, very good also that we are keeping a lot of clean sheets. And like I mentioned, this is our best run of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. Because obviously, let's be honest, since Solskjaer got the job permanently, and we'll disregard this 11-game unbeaten run, his record has been disastrous. But don't forget, when he was at Cardiff, his record was disastrous, and he got sacked from Cardiff because Solskjaer ended up, getting Cardiff relegated. So put that into the equation. Also, too, I've just read some reports, and Solskjaer has revealed his attacking philosophy at Manchester United, and he said basically he wants to build a team, does Solskjaer, that are capable. He wants to build a team. He wants to build a team, that are capable of dominating more games than not, and also to have the intentions of controlling games and controlling possession and that. So that's now Solskjaer's attacking philosophy. But like I mentioned, in this 11-game unbeaten run, a lot of aspects of our game have improved. We're playing as a unit, we're playing as a team, we're creating more chances, we're scoring more goals, our football looks more expansive, and that is very, very good to see in that. But like I've said to you on my recent video, Solskjaer now faces a new unprecedented challenge. He faces a new unprecedented challenge, just Solskjaer. Obviously, due to this coronavirus and that. I also believe some of our players, or a lot of our players, have been tested for the coronavirus, because I think Solskjaer is still, putting them in training and stuff like that. Because obviously, quite a few, players have been tested, for the coronavirus. But like I mentioned, it is a really, really bad disease. And I've also got to credit Solskjaer as well, because, since he's coming to Manchester United, he's given everybody their chances, which is also very, very good news. The young players have been given their chances, and overall he's give players the chances, to express themselves. And when he first came in December 2018, when he replaced Mourinho, he did say everybody would get their chances. So I'll give Solskjaer a lot of credit for that. Also, too, we've done really, really well against the top 6 sides this season. And I've got to credit Solskjaer for that. We've beaten Tottenham this season. We drew with Liverpool earlier on in the season. Liverpool have only dropped 5 points this season in the Premier League. He's become the first manager, to beat Pep Guardiola 3 times in one season, because we've beaten Man City three times out of the 4 matches we've played them this season. And it was the first time we did the double over Man City for 10 years. Also, too, he's overcome Frank Lampard 3 times as a manager, and in total he's beaten Chelsea, 4 times as a manager. So against elite opposition, we've done really, really well. But against lower opposition, especially early on this season, we haven't really replicated what we've done against the big 6 sides. So that is definitely an element of concern. But, like I said, a lot of our players are still determined to back Solskjaer. Obviously, Ed Woodward came out, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and he said, he's laid the foundations for long-term success with Solskjaer, and, he's determined to back him in the summer transfer window. Because, of course, if we decided to get rid of Solskjaer any time within this 2 years he's got left on his contract, we'd have to pay something in compensation, if we were to get rid of him. But there's no main explanation at the moment why we need to get rid of him. I'm still very sceptical that he is the long-term solution for Manchester United. But put into the equation, the longer Solskjaer's at Manchester United, the longer he's going to gain more managerial experience. Because a lot of people have been saying, including me, he is inexperienced as a manager. So yeah, you can say that's my element of concern. But, Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years, and he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, so I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. So he's got that proven pedigree as a player, but he hasn't really got it as a manager in that. I still don't think he's good enough as a manager to the highest level is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But like I mentioned, he seems to have got it right now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, definitely, he seems to have got it right, which is very, very good to see. But we've got quite a few ambitions this season. We've got to hope from our perspective that the FA Cup games can be rescheduled, because, we are into the quarter-final for the 6th season on the trot, and we've got Norwich in the quarter-finals. That needs to be rescheduled, by the way, the Norwich game, if the season does resume, that is. Hopefully, the Europa League games can be rescheduled, because that's a chance also too of us getting some silverware on the board, and plus it's another route to Champions League qualification. I think we've emerged as one of the favourites to win the Europa League, so we've got to be hopeful that they can be rescheduled. And, even if the season was to end now, we've got to hope as well, from our perspective, that it finishes at its current standings. So hopefully, we'll get Champions League qualification, finishing 5th, because 5th place is a Champions League spot anywhere. We are 3 points behind Chelsea at the moment, and we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. But yet, we are still in that top 4 race, which is very, very good to see. But Manchester United have not lost since the 2-0 defeat to Burnley at Old Trafford, and that was back in January. So like I mentioned, we are in a good run of form. But there hasn't only been problems with the management this season. A lot of people said, Solskjaer's managerial style doesn't suit the club, and there hasn't only been problems with the management. Some players have been underperforming this season. Obviously, a lot of United fans have been doubting the club's ownership and Ed Woodward. Obviously, we've had a lot of doubts about the board, so put that into the equation. And don't forget, Manchester United have had a lot of injuries this season. Some teams that get injured, it has a really bad effect on them, especially, when it's your key players. Obviously, we've got Marcus Rashford out until, I think he's out until 3 weeks, is Marcus Rashford, like I updated you yesterday. Rashford has been out with a back injury. But like I mentioned, if Solskjaer had never played him against Wolves, I don't think this injury would have occurred. More than likely, it wouldn't have occurred, this injury. But like I mentioned, he was our best player earlier on in the season, was Rashford. And up until this point, he spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. So he's out. Lee Grant, of course, is a long-term absentee. But, since Lee Grant's arrival from Stoke in the summer of 2018, he's seldom played, Lee Grant. I think he's like our third choice goalkeeper. Obviously, the news on Pogba is, he's stepping up his fitness regime. He's now close to returning from injury, like Solskjaer recently revealed. Don't forget, before the games were suspended, obviously, Solskjaer did say that Paul Pogba would be back in training this week. This is what he basically said. And, Solskjaer did actually, confirm after the 5-0 win against Lask that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United next season. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. And even Paul Pogba said himself the other week, last week he said, he wants to stay at Manchester United, and I think the main explanation why he wants to stay at Manchester United is because he's aware of the impact that Bruno Fernandes has made. He thinks he can form a partnership with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, and Paul Pogba did reveal that he's keen on extending his contract at the football club. So he did say he wants to commit his long-term future in Man United, because since Paul Pogba rejoined Man United from Juventus back in 2016, he has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, there's been talks about him going to Real Madrid. Obviously, been talks about him possibly going back to Juventus. Obviously, PSG and Barcelona have been in for him before. But obviously, we said we wanted around in the £150 million range if we were to sell Paul Pogba this summer. But don't forget, a month or so ago, he told his teammates that he wanted to leave Manchester United, did Pogba. But he's seldom played this season. Pogba has only played 8 times this season for Manchester United due to his injuries, so his appearances have been limited. But the good news is now he's stepping up his fitness regime. Of course, Bay's now back into the team, which I'm very, very delighted about. And I think since he's come back, he's done well. He's won a lot of aerial duels. He's been making a lot of good blocks. My only element of concern about Bay is he's very injury prone. But maybe now Bay could get there ahead of Lindelof. So now it could be Bay and Maguire as our first choice centre halves. I'm not saying Lindelof's done bad, but Bay deserves to keep his place in the team, of how good he has done. But I think it's still Lindelof and Maguire, our first choice centre halves at the moment. Obviously, McTominay's just come back, and I think since he's come back, he's also been a revelation in our midfield as Scott McTominay. And I think him and Fred in our midfield do complement each other fantastically well. Fred's done really, really well. I've got to give him a lot of credit. I thought he was very, very good in Ukraine, was Fred, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, we paid £50 million for him under Jose Mourinho. He never really got his opportunities under Mourinho. But I've got to say, this season, and especially recently, Fred has confounded his critics wrong, because he has received criticism in the past as Fred, but he's done really, really well recently. Got 2 assists, didn't he, against Lask. He scored twice in the previous round against Club Brugge, so he's actually a very, very good player, but isn't still that level as yet. I think Matic, he's improving. Obviously, he's a backup to Fred and McTominay, but I thought when McTominay was absent, Matic was doing really, really well. And we do know he's one player that's going to be staying at Manchester United, because don't forget the other week, he agreed a new contract with the football club, did Nemanja Matic. I've been very impressed with him. Obviously, Martial, he's recently rejuvenated himself. Don't forget, he made a collision with a goalpost in our 2-0 win against Manchester City, did Anthony Martial, so he's out of injury at the moment. He's sustained quite a few injuries this season, and it can have a bad effect on you. Martial, of course, has been operating in that number 9 role this season for Man United. It's not his predominant position, no. His predominant position is out on the left. That's his predominant position, Anthony Martial. So a lot of people say we need to put him on the left-hand side, Anthony Martial. Got to say, I've got to give Luke Shaw a lot of credit, because I think he's also done really, really well since he's come back from injury as Luke Shaw. And he's confounded his critics wrong, because he's had a lot of bad spells as a Man United player. Don't forget, he had a bad relationship with Mourinho, but so too did Pogba. He had a bad relationship with Mourinho. Martial had a bad relationship with Mourinho. Mourinho had a lot of bad disputes with our top players, and Luke Shaw sustained a lot of injuries as a Man United player. But, he was out for 2 months early on in the season, but since he's come back, he has done really, really well as Luke Shaw. And Wan-Bissaka, don't forget, he was out injured recently. I think he had a back problem. He didn't actually play against Lask, wasn't involved in the squad. But I've got to say, we are starting to see the attacking side of Wan-Bissaka's game. So I've also been very, very delighted with him. But his distribution and his defensive contribution is very, very good. And he's our first choice right back. Our backup right back is obviously Diego Dalot, and he's sustained a few injuries this season for Manchester United and that. But yeah, a lot of players have improved under Solskjaer. Odion Ighalo's done really, really well. Don't forget, Solskjaer did recently make an admission saying he could decide to make Odion Ighalo's transfer permanent in the summer, because he's done really, really well as Odion Ighalo. I think it's been revealed how much it'll cost for us to get him on a permanent transfer. Man United will have to pay around £15 million. But Ighalo's got four goals in 3 starts for the football club. And again, he's confounded his critics wrong, because a lot of people are saying he was a panic buy by Manchester United, was Odion Ighalo. And Bruno Fernandes, he's making the difference in the team. Our win ratio is far superior now with Bruno Fernandes in the team than what it was when he wasn't in the team. So just put that into the equation. But he scored three goals. He's obviously now got 4 assists for the football club, so I've been very, very impressed with Bruno Fernandes in that. But yeah, I don't think we'll sack Solskjaer as yet. I don't think he'll invoke Ferguson's legacy. I don't think any manager would invoke Ferguson's legacy, to be quite honest with you. But we've already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But yeah, I don't think it'll take us 30 years to win another title, like it has done with Liverpool. But don't forget though, when we won the first Premier League title in 1993, was it 92-93 season? That was the first time in 26 years that Manchester United had done that. So let's put that into the equation. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.